All right, I think we are live. Hey guys, happy Thursday afternoon. We're just wrapping up some things here at the office, about to head home for the day. And I really wanted to do this for a couple of weeks now. Just kind of pause here on Thursday afternoon and just share some thoughts. So just got a couple of quick notes here, just right over my screen. So if my eyes are doing this, that's what I'm doing, just making sure that I hit all the points. And just wanted to talk about maybe some things going on here in Georgia that are near and dear to my heart. You know, we're here in Albany, Georgia, which is home of Albany State University. My wife and I met the college we went to, Albany University. I've got a kid right now at the University of Tennessee, and in all of those areas, we have been engaged in the work of Baptist Collegiate Ministries, or BCM. In fact, I actually got to serve in some BCMs as a student, as a volunteer, as a part-time campus minister, and for 6 years here in Georgia as a full-time state missionary for Collegiate-Reaching through BCM. It's near and dear to my heart, and with a few of my dear friends stepping out and stepping on or retiring, I just wanted to share a few thoughts on the work that BCM does. I think it's one of those unheralded heroes when it comes to what we do as Southern Baptist, as Georgia Baptist, and being on mission right here in our home state. So real quick, what is BCM? And I realize when I talk about BCM, and particularly when I talk passionately about it, there are a ton of people that just have no idea what I'm talking about. They've never experienced that ministry firsthand. They might not even have any friends who were impacted or influenced by it. So just a quick explanation. And here's my working definition of what BCM. BCM is the cooperative on-campus collegiate reaching effort of Southern Baptist. One more time, BCM, Baptist Collegiate Ministries, is the cooperative on-campus collegiate reaching effort of Southern Baptist. So before we say anything else, let me just explain what I mean by all of those terms and why I think that's a great definition of what it is. BCM is cooperative. It's not like other parachurch organizations where they're just kind of on their own, they're their own organization. BCM actually only exists because churches in our denomination, churches that agree with our beliefs, churches that share our values, churches that share our mission, cooperate together, get together and say, we want to have a campus on our presence on our local college campuses. That's what BCM is. It's not really a conventional parachurch model. It's churches networking together to say, we need to have a presence in that beautiful Baptist way. We can do more together than we ever could dream of doing apart or on our own. It's those network of churches that really fund and make that happen. There isn't a national BCM organization. Now, we have some national leaders, and I'm grateful for them. In fact, we've got a great new national leader at the North American Mission Board who's just doing a great job. But those leadership roles really are more through influence and inspiration. Really, the leadership for BCM happens at a state convention level. That means that the BCM at Auburn, where I went to school, where I was a part, is separate from the BCMs in Georgia, where I got to work and serve our Georgia Baptist churches as a missionary, are separate from the BCM at Tennessee, where my daughter attends and is a part of leadership there. At every state, they are responsible for funding, they're responsible for staffing, for hiring, for oversight, for administration, for all the things that happen. It's up to the state conventions to make it happen. And here in Georgia, we have a great legacy of having a presence on over 50 campuses, where we have a trained missionary under the leadership of trained missiologists, giving leadership on behalf of and responsible to all of our Georgia Baptist churches. So it's cooperative, and there's an expectation of states, an expectation between those states to take care of students in this sending and receiving capacity. So when we send our kid out of state to go to another college in another state, I know that there's a BCM waiting for her to help her grow as a disciple, to engage her in leadership, to get her on mission on her campus. And when parents in those states, when churches in those states send their kids here to Georgia, there's that expectation of reciprocity, that we're here helping to serve them by discipling their kids and giving them leadership opportunities and giving them opportunities to engage in mission on their campus. So BCM's cooperative and it's on campus, and that is crucial. I value on church campuses having collegiate reaching efforts. I love having college ministries in our local churches. I'm passionate to see us here in my church do a better job of connecting with and reaching our college kids. But BCM stands apart because while it's the churches working together, it's focused entirely being on campus. It's not traditionally housed by any one church or any group of churches. In fact, our BCMs tend to have their own ministry centers at the very heart of campus. I mean, at Georgia Tech, our BCM has a Techwood Drive address. Why? Because years and years and decades ago, these Baptist churches got together and said, we need to kind of plant a flag in the heart of the campus. Certainly the fraternities and sororities do it, so why not us? So we have these BCMs, these campus ministry centers, in the heart of campuses all across our state, and other states have that happening on their college campuses too. So when a kid walks onto campus, literally you have to pass us. You have to pass right by one of our buildings. We're there and we're visible and we're present. Not on the periphery, not in the shadows, but in the very heart of our campus. We're on campus, which means that we're RSOs. That's language that I use, like, hey, it's an RSO model for collegiate reaching. What does that mean? It means it's a recognized student organization. It means there's no flying under the radar. It's not getting around rules. We engage the college campus at an administrative level, sitting in those professional missionaries and missiologists, professional pastors. To work with our kids mean that we register as a student organization. We follow the rules of the university, which means that we're entitled to all the privileges that RSOs, that recognized student organizations, have. And it means that we're in community with the university and the university leadership, trying to add value to the university. In a day and an age when we see our college campuses really changing, really evolving, really kind of moving along with the culture into a post-Christian era, it is having an RSO that allows us to have a presence on campus. I mean, we can't just imagine in the future that Baptist churches are going to be able to march onto campus and have a presence. And you might be able to do that, but you're going to be stuck in the free speech zones with the guys with the bullhorns and the angry signs shouting and screaming. And that's not the presence that we have or the kind of ministry that we want to have. In truth, it's not the kind of ministry that really impacts a college campus and college students. So by having an RSO, man, we're on campus, we're working with the university in a very official capacity. And while that can be difficult, it's also a really beautiful thing. I love that our BCMs as RSOs are led by trained, experienced missiologists. Sometimes it can be said of our churches, I hope it's not true ever for us, that we take our most precious resource, the thing that God's trusted us with, our kids and our students, and we give them to our least qualified or least trained pastors. I know here at Gillianville, we have long tenured pastors for children and youth ministry. We have guys with degrees and with training who are well read, who are well studied. We want to give our very best effort and our very best leaders to work with our next gen. That's absolutely true in BCM. I know here in Georgia, to become part of that system, I had to be looked at. I had to be credentialed. I had to have a Master of Divinity from one of our Southern Baptist seminaries. I had to have experience working in a local church in order to come on board. We just don't throw anybody into that position. We make sure that we're sending our very best to work with our kids. Why? Because, man, college students, where they are in life, how vitally important that moment is for them, deserves our very best. And last, real quick on being on campus, it means that we add value. We seek to add value to the university community through service. We wanted, the BCM that I served on, a little college in Atlanta, Georgia, we wanted to be the very first group ahead of the fraternities, ahead of the sororities, ahead of the service organizations. We wanted to be the first group that our leaders, the vice presidents of the university, the deans of the university, thought about when they needed help serving their students. And it was awesome. It was great to to have an international student services director give you a call and say, hey, Thanksgiving's coming up, and we know you guys do a great job of serving food and meals and being hospitable, so could you help us, work with us to set up something for our international students? Adding value at that level gives us, yes, a great opportunity to speak the truth of Jesus into the lives of students, but it also helps us to be salt and light, a city on a hill that can't be hidden, to be a very good witness for Jesus with those professors and those university leaders. So we're cooperative, we're on campus, and we're collegiate reaching. So what does BCM do? What's the ministry look like? Well, first and foremost, it's a discipleship ministry. It's all about discipling our kids through these formative collegiate years. Look, if we're not discipling our students, someone's going to be discipling them. If we're not discipling our kids, you better believe university professors will. If we don't disciple our kids, you better believe that social media will. If we don't disciple our kids and teach them the tenets of our faith and teach them how to apply the faith and the truths that we have in Jesus in the real world where they live, in the real world that they're heading into, if we don't do that, somebody's gonna. So we want to be there, and I'm so glad that we've got a ministry on campus that's devoted to that. But not just discipling our students, but absolutely doing that work of evangelism, holding out the hope that we have in Jesus to students who come from a non-churched background, who come just into those college years, those formative years of early adulthood, not knowing who Jesus is. And it's really engaging our students as we disciple them to simply be good neighbors on campus and to be faithful witnesses on campus. I love this. During the spring of the year 2020, the Georgia Baptist BCMs reported over 2,000 gospel conversations on campuses across the state of Georgia. I mean, one more time. Right? One more time. This is amazing. During a pandemic, our students through BCM had over 2,000 gospel conversations with other students on our campuses. Man, that is good work. That's work that we can be and should be excited about. In the school year of 2019 and 2020, Georgia BCMs reported 337 collegiate student conversions. We reported 162 other local ministry conversions. So kids serving in churches and through churches within the community, seeing people come to Jesus for the first time. And we saw over 1,400 conversions through our summer missions efforts here in Georgia, across North America, and around the globe. Guys, that is why we invest and we engage in BCM, in the work of collegiate reaching. It sees effect that has eternal impact in the lives of people, and that's why we're there. So again, BCM is the cooperative on-campus collegiate reaching effort of Southern Baptists. And that's really it. It's us. It's who we are. Faithful to what we believe, faithful to what we know to be true about Scripture, faithful to who we are and what we value, faithful to the work of our churches. Reaching college students is strategically vital to the future of all of our churches. It's where we find future leaders for the church. It's where we see God raising up future pastors. It's where God is calling future missionaries. And there's so many stories of BCM students who went into ministry. I'm one. So many stories of BCM students who got called to an international mission field. In fact, I've got friends watching this video right now. That's true for them. And absolutely, it's so exciting to see all of my former students who are still engaged as they're starting their families, as they've graduated and moved into the workforce. Still working, still serving, still giving, still making disciples in and through our local Georgia Baptist and Southern Baptist churches. We cannot, guys, listen, we cannot expect to have any impact on this culture if we retreat from the campus. And for all of those reasons, guys, I am the biggest fan of BCM, 100%. Those guys are my heroes. the women and the men who are serving us as campus ministers right now, the students who are working in leadership, the students who are being discipled, the students who are out there doing the work of evangelism on our campuses. I'm such a fan, and I'm so proud of their effort and their work. And I, as a Georgia Baptist pastor, am committed to the work of BCM. I'm committed to making sure that we have collegiate ministers and collegiate ministries on those campuses, recognized student organizations, working not just for us, but working with us to make impact on the campus, because that's how we make impact on the culture. That's our future, guys, and that's why we're in this together. Again, I'm so passionate about the work, and I see trends and things happening here in our local state and across North America through BCM. You know, BCM actually turns 100 years old this year. So I'm going to take a few Thursdays, I think, at 5 o'clock and just come on and talk about some of those trends, talk about some of those things that I'm observing, that I'm seeing, certainly things that I want to celebrate about the work of BCM across Georgia and across the country, some things that I'm concerned about as well. I just wanted to give this kind of as an introductory statement to it. And again, if you have any questions or comments, just comment below. As I have opportunity through the week, I might put some more information for you guys in the comments below. But again, just here to share some thoughts on Thursday, and this Thursday and next, and maybe the one to follow. Just want to talk about the good work that's being done right now, specifically by Georgia Baptist, but really by all Southern Baptists through BCM on our college campuses. So guys, if you're a BCM campus minister, if you're a college student here in the state of Georgia, know today, this afternoon, this week, particularly, I'm praying for you, I'm pulling for you, so proud of you. God bless you in your work. Guys, thanks for joining me tonight. Have a great evening.